That's the hardest part. That's the thing that nobody talks about. How easy it is to give up. How hard it is to commit to yourself and choose yourself and invest in yourself and keep going towards your dream.
Make you feel lucky, lucky. Make you wanna love me, baby,
Dear Lavish.
Hey everybody, my name is Myaceleste and welcome to my YouTube channel. I told myself I wouldn't say YouTube channel, but it is a YouTube channel, so welcome. And if this is your second time back, welcome back. So today we're going to be starting our real life conversation playlist. I have two playlists. It's going to have my real life conversations and my lifestyle conversations. But today is going to be the first video that goes inside the real life conversations. Woohoo! So I'm very excited. With that being said, we will be going over 5 ways to figure out what to do with your life. Now, if you follow me on TikTok, that may sound kind of familiar to you. I posted a video not too long ago giving a brief summary of the 5 ways to figure out what to do with your life. So, if you don't want to hear a detailed version and get the resources and the links that I use, then you can go ahead and watch the TikTok video. Nothing wrong with that. I would love that. But if you want to find out more information and get more examples, watch this one, okay? You gotta stay to the end. So, let's get straight to it. 5 ways to figure out your life. Number 1, introspection. With introspection, you want to do a little bit of self-reflection. This is a way for you to get to know yourself on your own terms. Think about your past self. Think about some of the things that you used to do in the past that kind of showed signs of what you may be interested in. For example, my mother, she was a nurse and still is a nurse. But she was younger. My grandmother used to tell me how she used to have her dolls and she would play doctor. She would try to patch them up and treat them like they were patients. Those are the signs. Meaning, you don't have to exactly rely on yourself for introspection. Ask your parents, ask a sibling, ask someone that you love and know that they know who you are. Because they may be able to tell you something that you never figured out for yourself. For example, for me, I didn't really realize that I was a giver. My mom, my dad, my grandma, and my boyfriend, they all told me, you're always giving. You're always doing something for somebody else and not looking out for yourself. And I was like, oh, okay. It didn't have to come from me, but they were right. So that kind of gave me a leadway into doing some introspection and just reflecting on how I am as a person. Number 2, do a job quiz or a personality quiz. Use your resources. We have the internet. And if you don't have the internet, go to your local library. You can do a job quiz, a personality quiz. Those are different ways to kind of confirm what you were already introspecting. They're not going to always be correct, and that's fine. But for me, it was right. One of my favorite quizzes that I did was the Enneagram test. And I believe the Enneagram test goes up to 8 different types of people. I'm going to put the link to the test down below in the description. But I was on truity.com and it gives you so much insight into who you are. Sometimes you have to ask those questions. Who am I? What qualities do I have? So maybe doing this test or the different type of personality tests that are out there may help you figure out your personal characteristics and your qualities. But let me tell you guys a little bit more about the Enneagram test. So remember when I told you guys that I was a giver? When I took the Enneagram test, my result came up as a type 2. The giver. I have my iPad right here, so I'm going to be looking at that a little bit. Literally on the website with truity.com, they give you a whole bunch of things. The first thing that you're going to see is your key personality trait. I'm about to read off the results that came up for givers or type 2s. As type 2 people, we have warm smile and eyes. We're very approachable, radiate kindness, vocal volunteer or activist. I am in social work, so I advocate and I am excellent team player, caring, gentle, nurturing, and patient. Well, we're working on the patient part. That's just a few key personality traits that they gave me, but they have a whole bunch of stuff on this website. But on to the job quiz. I did a job quiz when I assumed that I wanted to be a nursing major. Back to the introspection part, I realized that my goal in life was to help others. I always said that my mission is to make a change in this world. That is like the biggest thing that I want to do. But I wanted to figure out what was my way to do it. And so I realized helping people was that way. So doing a job quiz can kind of just give you a bunch of different options you can look into that may line up with how your personality is. So when you take the job quiz, make sure you answer the questions honestly. Try to put it for what you know you will do and not what you think the right answer is. That means if one of the questions are giving you choices where they say, would you rather work alone or work as a team player? Of course, if this was Indeed and you were applying for a job, you'll probably want to put a team player because that's what employers look for. But this isn't about what employers look for. This is about you. You're trying to figure out what's really best for you. If you know that you don't work as a team player and you end up getting the results of a job that requires you to be a team player, then you didn't do it right. Of course, these results aren't guaranteed, but I think they do come pretty close to what it is that the person is looking for and what really aligns with them. Number 3, research. Talk to the experts. I think that it's really important. Putting yourself out there, networking. I know a lot of people in their 20s, actually younger than me, who's doing so great. They networked. And I feel like networking and research kind of goes hand in hand because it allows you to talk to the people that's actually doing the job that you're looking for. Let's say you already did your introspection, like for example, me. I figured out, okay, my goal in life is to help others. So I do a job quiz, and the job quiz tells me you would be great as a nurse. You would be great as a social worker. You would be great as an occupational therapist. Those are the 3 things in my life that I kind of juggled in between when I was trying to figure out what it is that I wanted to do. I started out with nursing, talked to some nurses. My mom is a nurse, so I connected with her. She was able to give me the opportunity to shadow in the hospital with the nurses in a NICU center. So I saw all the little babies, the preemies, and I saw the nurses at work. But I realized that nursing is very medicinal and they have to know about medicine. And I was more on the caretaking side. So when I ended up taking some time from school, I became a CNA so I could work hand in hand with the nurses. The nurses were my bosses. So I talked to them, asked them questions, I asked for advice, and they poured into me. And that's when I realized, okay, so nursing may not be for me, but that's okay. At least you're trying to figure out what is for you. Sometimes you gotta kind of get over those stumbling blocks. And then you find out, okay, well, that's not for me. I guess we could take that off the list. Let's go to the next thing. I talked to a person who's an occupational therapist. I looked up YouTubes. I read articles. I researched because I was like, okay, I'm a CNA. I really enjoy caregiving and working with people on the day-to-day basis. So I was like, okay, maybe I can do occupational therapy. But then I realized after talking to an occupational therapist and doing some research on occupational therapy, that wasn't for me either. I talked to some people that were in counseling that had their LCSWs. They told me how you can actually go to school as a social worker and get your licensed clinical social work degree and become a counselor that way. And I was like, social work. Then I sat back, I did my job quiz to see if that would even fit me. I did research on what social work is, the many different fields that you can do in social work, and that's when it hit me. This is what I'm gonna do. At least let me give it a try. That's when we go into number 4. You have to figure out how you're gonna finance it. So sometimes you can have your dream, but how are you gonna get to that dream realistically? When you're figuring out what you wanna do with your life, it's good to be realistic, which is why we're having these real life conversations, because people aren't gonna tell you that. People are gonna be like, do what makes you happy, but they don't tell you the struggles behind doing what makes you happy. Everything comes with the cost in this economy, and we know that. Inflation? Everything costs. So while you're doing your research, it's important to figure out, okay, how am I gonna make it here? How am I much is this gonna cost me? So what about you guys? Now could be a little question moment. And if you guys want to drop it in the comments, drop it in the comments. How are you gonna fund your dream? Let's go ahead and make it to number 5. Do it! We just went through all 4 of those steps. Now you just have to do it. And I think that's the kicker. That's the hardest part. That's the thing that nobody talks about. How easy it is to give up and how hard it is to keep going. How hard it is to commit to yourself, choose yourself, invest in yourself, and keep going towards your dream. Be selfish. I said it in my TikTok video. Be selfish for a change. Choose yourself. And that's what I did. That's what I'm doing. And I'm so proud of how far I've came. I've been through a lot in my academic journey, but I'm about to graduate. If I can do it, yo, I'm telling you, you can do it. And it also doesn't have to be a short-term goal. It can be a long-term goal. So if you know you don't have the money right now, that means you need to get that job that you need, start saving up to fund your dream. You have to be willing to sacrifice for yourself. I feel like if you're a giver like me, you're giving. When are you going to give to yourself? That's the question. That is what we need to talk about. So let's go over those 5 steps. Here's a recap. Number 1, introspection. Number 2, job quiz, personality quiz. Number 3, research. Talk to the expert. Number 4, figure out how you're gonna finance this dream. How are you gonna make this happen? And number 5, do it! I really believe in you guys. I mean, I know it's a Wednesday, it's a hump day, but why not start thinking about yourself on this Wednesday? Why not start thinking about the next thing you can do and how you're gonna make it happen? I want us to all be successful. I said that in my first video. It's 2024. We're gonna all be successful. How are you guys gonna make it happen? This is the type of push some of us need to really get started in what we believe in. I think that you guys are going to be great. You guys are going to be awesome. You're going to figure out what you want to do and you're going to make it to that dream of yours. You don't have to use all 5 steps. It worked for me, so I hope it works for you. To make this a real life conversation, I want us to really converse. Tell me in the comments, what is your dream? What is your purpose? What are some other ways you can figure out what to do with your life? I'm still getting older. I'm still figuring this thing out myself. I'm still discovering myself. So I would love to get some type of advice from you guys. I am all ears. Anyways, my name is myaceleste, and thank you guys for watching. Tune in next week because I'm gonna change it up a little bit. We're doing our real life conversations today, but next week I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a lifestyle vlog. Get to know me a little bit. Get to see how my life is, because guess what, y'all? I just started my last semester of school and I am stressing, but it's gonna be okay. I just want you guys to remember, always love yourself. Bye.